Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be digging into something really foundational, learning English right from the beginning for absolute beginners.
That's right.
Our mission here is basically to pull out the most important bits, the shortcuts, maybe even a few surprises from our source material. It's a guide for people just starting out with English.
And we want you to come away feeling like you really get the landscape. What actually works.
Exactly. We want you to be well informed about how to kickstart this whole language thing effectively. Promise some practical tips along the way, too.
Definitely.
Okay, let's unpack this.
And I'm here to, help guide us through that material, connect some dots, maybe add a bit of context on why these first steps are so important for succeeding later on, not just what to do.
Perfect. So, let's jump right in. The source material asks this really basic question. If you're totally new to English, what's the number one thing, the single most important focus? What does the guide say?
Yeah, it's pretty direct about this. It says the absolute essential is getting that foundation solid. And it breaks this down into like a core three. Grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation.
The big three.
Exactly. It really hammers home that these aren't separate things. You just tick off a list.
Yeah.
Understanding basic grammar rules, building up common words, working on how you sound. They're all linked.
Interconnected building blocks, like it says.
Precisely. They work together for, actual communication that people understand. What's fascinating here is just how much they depend on each other. If you let one slide, the others kind of suffer too.
Right, like trying to drive a car with a flat tire, maybe. Doesn't quite work.
Something like that, yeah. You need all the parts working.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that first one then, grammar. The source calls it the language blueprint. So what specific rules does the guide say beginners absolutely need to prioritize to really get down?
Well, it suggests starting specifically with the present tense.
Just the present. Why is that?
Because it's super practical right away. You can talk about your daily routine, facts, things happening now. That covers a huge amount of, your first conversation.
Okay, practical first. Makes sense.
Yeah. And then really getting a handle on verb conjugations. That just means, how verbs change, like I am, you are, she is, that kind of thing.
Right, the basics of matching verbs to who's doing the action.
Exactly. And basic sentence structures, subject, verb, object is your friend here, plus subject, verb agreement, making sure your verb matches your subject. He goes, not he goes.
Got it.
Nailing these early on just makes things so much less confusing down the line. Builds that solid foundation you mentioned.
Okay, so focusing on those specific rules helps you build clear, correct sentences from the get-go. That seems like a smart way to start communicating effectively. Let's shift to vocabulary then. Obviously, you need words. What kind of smart strategies does the source recommend for learning them?
For vocab, it gives some really practical advice. First off, don't just learn random lists. Focus on themes.
Themes, like what?
Like, food, travel, family, things you actually talk about. Learning words in context like that helps you remember them way better than just memorizing definitions.
So connecting them to real life.
Exactly. And then it suggests active methods, things like using flashcards, sure, but also playing word games. Or watching English TV shows or movies, maybe with subtitles on.
Making it fun, not just work.
Right. It makes it more engaging. It turns learning words from a chore into something, more integrated. Something you actually do.
Those sound like things you could start doing, like right now.
Yeah.
Very actionable. But, okay, knowing the words is one thing. Saying them so people understand you, that's pronunciation. How does the guide help with that, sounding more natural?
Pronunciation, it's huge for clarity. The source points to a few key things. One is actively listening. Really, really listening to how native speakers sound.
Not just hearing, but listening for the details.
The rhythm, the melody, and then practicing speaking consistently. There's no way around that.
Practice, practice, practice.
And here's a good tip it mentions. Record yourself.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Because hearing yourself back gives you, objective feedback. You can hear what you actually sound like, not what you think you sound like. Helps you pinpoint where to improve.
That makes sense. Hard, maybe, but useful.
Definitely useful. And the guide stresses paying attention to things like intonation. the rise and fall of your voice.
Right, like asking a question versus making a statement.
Exactly. And word stress, which part of the word you emphasize, and the overall rhythm of English. If we connect this to the bigger picture, focusing on these nuances makes a massive difference in how clear you are. It makes your communication feel more natural.
So it's not just about saying the word right, but the music of the language too.
Precisely. A tiny shift in stress, like, record the noun versus record the verb, changes the whole meaning.
Wow, yeah. Small details, big impact. Okay, let's talk about the mental side. Learning a language, especially at the start, can feel, well, overwhelming. Easy to get discouraged. Does the guide talk about staying motivated, handling those challenges?
Oh, absolutely. It really focuses on mindset. It advises setting small, achievable goals, things you can actually reach.
Like learning 5 new words a day, not 50.
Exactly. Celebrate those small wins. It keeps you going. And regular practice, obviously, but it also suggests finding a language buddy.
Something to practice with.
Yeah, or just someone to share the journey with. It provides support, accountability, makes it less lonely.
That's a great idea.
And mentally, the big message is don't fear mistakes. Seriously. Mistakes are how you learn. Embrace them.
Easier said than done sometimes, but crucial.
It really is. The guide frames it as, learning a language is a journey. It's okay, actually, it's necessary to take it one step at a time. Be patient with yourself.
So what does this all mean? It means it's as much about your attitude and resilience as it is about the techniques. Giving yourself permission to learn, mistakes and all. That's really encouraging. Okay, talking about tools. Does the source recommend any specific resources, apps, websites, that kind of thing?
It does. It lists a few well-known, solid options. For apps, it mentions Duolingo. Lots of people know that one. It's kind of gamified.
Right, makes it feel less like studying.
Yeah. For listening, it suggests podcasts like 6 Minute English from the BBC. They're short, clear, designed for learners.
Good for busy schedules?
And for visual learners, YouTube channels. It names English Class 101 as an example, which has tons of video lessons on all sorts of topics.
Okay, great. So whether you like apps, listening, or watching, there are good, accessible options out there for you to check out.
Definitely something for everyone to explore.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. The building blocks, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and how they fit together. Smart ways to learn words, how to work on sounding natural.
And that crucial mindset piece, too.
Right. And the resources. I think our deep dive really highlights that, yeah, learning English takes effort. It takes time. But if you stick with it, use the right approach,
Yeah,
you absolutely can get there.
absolutely. And remember, everyone who speaks English fluently started right where you are now, as a beginner. Every little step forward counts. We're genuinely excited for you starting this.
Definitely. So as you get going or keep going on your English journey, here's something to think about. Learning a new language doesn't just change what you can say. It can actually change how you think, how you see the world, how you connect with people. It's more than just words. It opens up new ways of understanding, new perspectives. It can be pretty transformative. So keep at it, keep exploring, and enjoy the connection.